All right, guys, what is up? Wolfric back here, or VV, whichever you want to call me, VV Wolfric, whatever works for you. We got the black cards. Now, these are my favorite cards in One Piece. I will probably always be running some type of black deck, whether it be mono black or whether it be blue black in the future, red black, green black in the future. Purple, black, you name it. I'm always going to be running some element of black just because I like these Navy characters. I like these admirals, I think they're called in the actual show. I'm just a big fan. And so let's go ahead and start off here. First character up, I'm just going in order on the website. It looks like we got a big one here to start. We got Isho, 8 cost, 9,000 power, black character, Navy type. Effect. It has no counter. Probably, like I said, like I've said in a previous video, most characters that are over 6 or 7 Dawn in cost, they're probably not going to have a counter attached to them because that's, I don't know. That's just how they do it, I guess, for balance. So type Navy. So effect. Dawn ×1. Your turn. Give all of your opponent's characters -3 cost. That's nice. Yeah. That is really nice, I have to say. And then you have an on-play effect here. If your opponent has 6 or more cards in their hand, trash 2 cards from your opponent's hand. Wow. So that's pretty nice. I got to say, this is a solid card right here. I think this is a 10. I don't think I've given any 10s out just yet. What's something I can nitpick about it? Maybe the fact that there is no counter, but I mean, maybe I'll give it a 9.5 in that case. But it's an 8 cost, 9k power, so you're getting what you pay for. I mean, some people might say like, oh, it should be a 10k or something, but I mean, this is fine as a 9k for 8 cost. It has this effect that is just. You put 1 Dawn on him, now he is a 10k, and now all of your opponent's characters are -3 cost. If this character sticks, like if you play him on curve when you're on the draw, so in other words on turn 4, you play this card. If you're in any decent spot to survive, I think the game is now yours. Like if this guy survives and you played him on curve on turn 4 on the draw, which means, I mean, if you think about black for a second, like I said, this is the color I like the most. I'm probably gonna spend a little bit extra time talking about this. If you're going, turn, let's just start at turn 2. Turn 2, you're dropping Borsalino or Kuzan, the baby Kuzan. Turn 3, you're dropping either some type of blocker and sitting on a 2k counter, or excuse me, a 4k counter for 2 cost, like Shockwave, for example, and then, or a Sakazuki, and then you're turn 4, if you're dropping this guy, if you mill 2 cards from their hand, that's insane. First of all, that on play effect will be so nice if you can pull that off. But then if he sticks, all of your opponent's characters can't even be above a 7. Like that's crazy. That means anything that's an 8 or less gets killed by Sakazuki. Anything that's a 6 or less gets killed by Kobe. Like that's nice. This is a really nice card here, guys. This is really nice. I give this like I said, if I just have to be crucial of it, I give it a 9.5 out of 10 for not having a counter. But I don't think they give counters, like I said, at this high of a cost and power. So I'm just going to give it a 10. Okay, got the alternate art for it. Really cool looking. This is another case where I like the original one better than the alternate art, but that's just me personally. Okay, we got a 5 cost. Oh, real quick, what we should be looking at too. I do apologize for not saying this up front. We need to be looking at the leaders that correspond to them. Rob Lucci. He is. You may trash 2 cards from your hand when your opponent's character's KO'd. Set this leader is active. So he can stand up by trashing 2 cards when you KO something. And then Lin, she has Dawn 2, pay 2. You may trash 1 card from your hand. If you have 1 or less life cards, add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life cards. So a 4 Dawn investment to get a card on top if you're at 1 life or less. Okay, so just to give an idea. Because moving forward, I think that is going to be relevant. Maybe not with this guy because he is an old type. He is Navy. But with the future, with these next cards, you know, I think it'll make more sense. Okay, Virgo, 5 cost, 5,000 power, 2,000 counter. Already playable in every single black deck, just as a 2K counter. And then Dawn ×1. This character cannot be KO'd in battle. Well, that's interesting. I don't really care for the character's abilities. Well, I don't know. I mean, he kind of sticks around, doesn't he? That's a tough call. They'd have to KO him with an effect. So, you know, depending on what the removal looks like in this next meta, this next expansion meta, this card might just be, he might just be a 10 out of 10 or something, you know, if he can't be killed, you know, if people don't have enough removal. But I could see, you know, we know red decks and black decks are going to have removal. Blue's going to be able to push him out of the way. Green has removal as well in rested characters. So you know, this guy, he's a 7.5 no matter what because he's a 2K counter, and he is at least a 5 cost, or a 5K that can't be KO'd in battle. So I'll give him that. All right, we got Kaku, another one of these guys. He's a 5 cost, 6,000 power, 1,000 counter. Very nice so far. CP9. On play effect, you may place 2 cards with a type including CP from your trash at the bottom of your deck in any order. KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 3 or less. So this is a nice little Kobe style effect where instead of having to pitch a card from your hand, you're just putting cards from your graveyard, from your trash. They have to be there, back to the bottom of your deck. Now he is a 5 cost 6K that has Kobe's effect, but still, I think this is pretty solid. I think this card has a lot of value. I'm going to go 7.5 with this guy. I don't think he's unbelievably over the top or anything, but I think he's definitely well above the, you know, like your average 5 cost, like in what he can do. Also, look at the artwork. Check out the giraffe in the background or whatever. It looks like a dragon or something. That looks really cool in his shadow. Really cool for the shadow. All right, next. This is another parallel. Okay, Khalifa. Oh man, here we go. We got a 4 cost. This is a 2K counter. I'm sorry, that's like the first thing I saw. So 4 cost, 4,000 power, black character, 2,000 counter, CP9. Is that 2K counters in a row almost? This guy, yeah, I mean, okay. CP9 on play, draw 2 cards and trash 2 cards from your hand. Wow, just a solid cycle effect. And then give up to one of your opponent's characters -2 cost during this turn. This is at least a 9.5 out of 10. I think this is a 10 out of 10. She has 2K counter. She has an effect that is actually, it's on play and is very relevant because not only does it draw you 2 cards, you know, I mean, yeah, you'll have to trash 2, but that helps out your cause, right? For that Kaku guy we just read. Yeah, you may place 2 cards with types including CP from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order to KO up to one of your opponent's characters that cost 3 or less. So it's directly contributing to what it's built for, the CP9 archetype or deck type, whatever. And then it gives up to one of your opponent's characters -2 cost during this turn. This card it has to at least be a 9 out of 10. This card's incredible. Just to nitpick, because, you know, we have to do some nitpicking. You at least have to invest 1 Dawn before swinging to face, or 2 Dawn if it's against like a Whitebeard. I'm going to give it a 9 or a 9.5. This card is out of this world. Incredible. Oh, okay. There's the parallel. I like that parallel art. That one's much better than some of the others we saw, I think. Kumadori. This is a vanilla 4 cost, 6,000 power, 1K counter for CP9. Very, very 5 out of 10. Very average vanilla. Corgi. 1 cost, 0 power. Black character, world government, 1,000 counter, effect, on play, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck and trash up to 2 cards. Okay, so that's playing into the CP9 type of thing, but even though it's world government here. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. Okay, that's interesting. So you're pitching 2 cards. You're not getting any, though. Look at 5 cards from the top of your deck and trash up to 2 cards. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. See, now this is a searcher that I got to go lower on. Doesn't have any power. It's a 1K counter, but I'm going to I'm going to go 4 with this. We'll go 4 with Corgi. Someone correct me in the comments below if I'm missing something, if this guy's just insane. And if I ever miss anything, don't be afraid to say something down there, guys. I miss stuff. I'm not perfect. I'm just human. Okay, we got a 2-costed, 4,000 power, 1,000 counter, CP6 vanilla character here named Jerry. Okay, just this is a 5 out of 10. You know, just one of the average ones. Another average one here. We got Jabra. He is a 5-cost, 7,000 power, black character, CP9, 1,000 counter, vanilla. It's 5 out of 10. Solid. Okay, we got Spandam. Spandam is a 1-cost, 2,000 power, 1,000 counter, black character, CP9, on play. If your leader's type includes CP, which is Rob Lucci, look at 3 cards from the top of your deck. Reveal up to 1 card with a type including CP other than Spanman and add it to your hand, then trash the rest. Okay, this is much better. You're revealing 1, adding it to your hand, and trashing the other 2. You only get to look at 3. You know, the normal searcher is everything he is, but you get to look at 5, and the 4 go to the bottom of your deck. But these, you look for this guy, you look at 3, so 2 less, and you draw the card still. But and by the way, reveal up to 1 card that with a type including CP. So it can be anything that's CP. It can be an event, whatever. Character event, you name it, and add it to your hand, then trash the rest. So now it's in your discard pile or in your trash, so that you can use that for other effects. I'll give this guy a 7.5. 7.5 out of 10. Very solid. Another parallel art. Okay, we got a bunch of parallel arts. All right. Nero, this is your, okay, vanilla, 3 costs, 5,000 power, 1,000 counter, black CP9, vanilla character. Cool art. Moving on. Okay, we got Fukuro? I don't know how to say this. I'm going to say Fukuro. He is a 3-cost, 3,000 power, 1,000 counter. Okay. That's pretty interesting because usually, you get a 2-cost, 2,000, and this guy has blocker. He is usually it's a 2-cost, 2,000 power, 1,000 counter. But this guy's for 1 cost more. He's getting 1,000 extra power. What else? And this character cannot be KO'd by effects. He's CP9. Okay, wow. So this card is solid. This is mini Borsellino now. So now, it's kind of like you get Borsellino on turn 2 no matter what if you run this guy and Borsellino. This character cannot be KO'd by effects. That's solid. I mean, he is going to stick around, right? Unless he gets put into someone's hand or put at the bottom of someone's deck or rested. So this is pretty solid in my opinion. Yeah, good card. I think this is overall a very good card. I'm going to go 7. Yeah, I'm going to go with the 7 on this card. I think just in a vacuum, the fact that it can't be KO'd by effects, and if they're resting this guy to smash into him, well, that saved it from one of your other guys, right? So he's still blocked. Or if they bounce him back to your hand, you can just replay him. Or if they bounce him to the bottom of your deck, they didn't bounce like a Borsellino. So I just see this as just a net win for what they do for this 3 cost here. And he has a 1K counter. Yeah, this is a 7.5 for me. This is an 8. Excuse me. This is an 8 because he has 3K counter. You only have to invest 2 Dawn into him to swing for just base life at a leader. I give this guy an 8. This guy's solid. Okay, we got brand new. 2 costs, 3,000 power, 1,000 counter, black navy character. Effect on play. Look at 3 cards from the top of your deck. Reveal up to 1 navy type card other than brand new and add it to your hand. Then trash the rest. Okay, so let me read that one more time. Look at 3 cards from the top of your deck. Reveal up to 1 navy type card other than brand new and add it to your hand. So you can look for an event, you can look for whatever with this, and you trash the rest. So this applies to not just, think about it. You can you can on play look at 3 cards from the top of your deck, reveal and not reveal any, right? And just trash them and add it to your hand, then trash the rest. I don't know if you can fail if you did draw a navy. Can you choose just not to reveal it and just trash the rest? If someone knows in the comment section below, please tell me. But yeah, this card is solid. It throws a bunch of cards into your. It has the ability to throw a bunch of cards in your trash and search for the cards that matter. I think this is even though this is a Navy type, I think this is even good in a CP type, in a CP deck or anything, because you're throwing stuff into the trash and drawing for the Navy card you need. I'm giving this one an 8 out of 10. This is a solid searcher, very strong searcher. Even though it only looks at 3, it kind of fuels both the Navy deck and the CP deck. So I think this card's solid. Okay, we got Bluno. Bluno? I don't know. He is a 5-cost, 6,000 power, 1,000 counter. That's a very solid line I like to see. And he has effects. Let's see. He's a CP9 black character, of course. Effect, Dawn ×1. This character gains blocker. Okay, and he has an on KO, which is always good for a blocker. On KO, play up to 1 character card with a type including CP and a cost of 4 or less from your trash rested. Okay, let's look at what we've already seen. That CP real quick. So it could grab this guy from your trash, and you would, if he had died earlier, if you use him as a counter. This guy is a CP that's 4 or less. This guy is a CP that's 4 or less. This guy, not that I think you'd run him. Corgi's World Government. This guy, he's a 4 or less. That's a big body to put on the board too for that. She's CP. Okay, so that's pretty good. This card just went up in value in my opinion, because now if Bluno grabs her, you cycle 2 cards, right? You draw 2 to discard 2, and you -2 someone. Oh man, that is so good. Now you cannot get Kaku, and then issue of course. Okay, all right. So that card. Sorry guys. Let me go through this a little slower for y'all. This card is A-okay with me. This is at least an 8.5 out of 10. It's a 5-cost 6K, 1,000 counter. It can have blocker whenever you need it to, and then whenever it does die, it's getting you value out of the trash. And wait, it plays it. Excuse me. Like I was saying, like it plays up to 1 character card with a type including CP and a cost of 4 or less from the trash. It does rest it so they can go into it, but it doesn't matter. You just saved another attack, basically for free. Okay. So again, I'll give this guy, I'm going to give him an 8.5 out of 10. No, I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10. This card's incredible. This card's absolutely insane. Okay. Helmeppo. All right. 1 cost, 0 power, 1,000 counter, Navy, black character. Effect, on play, set the cost of up to 1 of your opponent's characters with no base effect to 0 during this turn. Generally speaking, people don't put characters in their deck without base effects. They do exist. There are some vanilla characters people run, like for example, good 5/7s. Like where is it? Guys like this do make their way into decks sometimes, and the 4/6 things like that. I have seen those, and some stuff even bigger. So I mean, it's not like it's just dead, but in general, those are also not. I don't like this card. I don't know how else to say it. I don't like what it's doing. I don't like anything about it. Set the cost of up to 1 of your opponent's characters with no base effect to 0 during this turn. I'm going to give this a 3 out of 10. He has no power. He's worth the 3 because of his counter. I think anything that has a 1K counter is at least always usable in that regard as like a 2.5 or a 3. He at least has this ability that can potentially pay off for you. I'm giving him a 3 out of 10. 2.5 to 3 out of 10. Okay, we got Rob Lucci here. This is a 6-cost, 7,000 power, 0 counter, black color, or black character, CP9 type. Effect, on play. You may place 2 cards with a type including CP from your trash at the bottom of your deck in any order. This character gains rush during this turn. So this kind of goes directly with the Rob Lucci leader, obviously, right, as it should. That card, you pitch 2 cards with him to stand him upright, the leader. For this guy, you're putting those 2 cards, back, into your deck at the bottom. At least that's the idea. It's a 6/7. It's kind of similar to that Luffy we looked at in purple for OP03 in my last video, where he can discard a character That was like 5 costs or less and Dom -2 to get rush. This is much more accessible, just discarding 2 cards that are CP. I'm going to give this, or excuse me, it's not discarding. You're placing 2 cards with that type from your trash at the bottom of your deck. That should be very easy. So I would say that this is I would put this at a 7, because this is essentially a 6-cost 7K rusher. Yeah, I'm going to go with a 7 on this. Maybe 7.5, but really 7. I'm going to go with 7 on this guy. Because a 6-7 is nothing crazy. And what else it's competing with in black at all times will be Sakazuki, who's a 6-cost 7K power that just straight up, kills a character. You know what I mean? Whereas this guy can kind of do that in a different way. So I'll put him at 7.5, actually. I'm going to put him at 7.5. Solid card. Very solid. It might, now I'm thinking about it. Like, you could swing for lethal with this guy, theoretically. So, I mean, I'm going to go with an 8. 8 out of 10 on this guy. So that'd be like a 4 out of 5, 8 out of 10. This card is solid. Okay, Rob Lucci parallel art. And we got Wanzi. 2 cost, 4K. Not vanilla, though. It does not have a 1K counter. CP7 on play. You may trash 1 card from your hand. If your leader type includes CP, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 1 or less. So it helps clear up some of the garbage on the board with that KO effect. I guess that's... And you do get to trash a card from your hand. I don't know. I'm just going to call this a 5 out of 10. Like, just completely average. 2.5 out of 5, 5 out of 10, however you want to say. This is a 5 out of 10. Air Door. Okay. Excuse me. We have a 4-cost event for black, CP9. Effect, main. If your leader type includes CP, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck. Another search card. Play up to 1 character card with a type including CP and a cost of 5 or less. Then trash the rest. Hang on. Look at 5 cards from the top of your deck. Play up to 1 character card. Play up to 1 character card with a type including CP and a cost of 5 or less and trash the rest. Wow. Then it also has a trigger. Play up to 1 black character card with a cost of 3 or less from your trash. So that grabs your Fukuro, whatever it's called. And that could be any. That doesn't even have to be CP. That can be any character. So that could even... You could even play like a Suru or something, right? If you use that as a 2K counter earlier. This card's insane. This is a 9 out of 10, if not a 10 out of 10. It is a 4 cost. That's big. And it is used... It is a main effect you're doing this as. It's basically a 4 cost search. So I'm going to go 9 out of 10 only because it costs 4. If it was like a 3 cost search... I think this is a 10 out of 10. Just a legitimate 10 out of 10. Wait a minute. That trigger, play up to 1 black character card with a cost of 3 or less from your trash. That could potentially net you a Kobe or a Fukuro. Yeah, very strong. Very, very strong, this Eridor. At 9.5 out of 10. It needs to be a 3 cost, in my opinion, for this effect, because you're not getting... I mean, you are getting a body. It's playing a 5... No, it's a 10 out of 10. Yeah, this is a 10 out of 10 because you're playing the 5 cost. If your leader is CP, it can only be used in... That's what I'll say. It can only be used in a CP style deck. But I'm still... I think it's a 9.5 or a 10 out of 10. This card's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Okay, we got Soap Sheep. Give up to 2 of your... this is a 1 cost black event for CP9. Give up to 2 of your opponent's characters -2 costs during this turn. Trigger, your opponent trashes 1 card from their hand. We got some more hand attack stuff like Isho and like, what is it, Meteor Volcano or the Volcanic Eruption or whatever. I can't remember which one it is. Soap Sheep, this... Give up to 2 of your opponent's characters -2 costs during this turn. I would not run this over a... There's no way I would run this over like an Ice Age, because Ice Age just gives -5 to 1 guy. Well, currently the black cards can only really destroy 1 card at a time, per ability, obviously. And I know coming up soon. There's going to be a Shanks that can maybe get some value out of this. But generally speaking, and currently speaking, this card is pretty lackluster. I would much rather just run a Ice Age over this that gives up to one of your opponents -5 cost during this turn, and its trigger I think is KO up to something 3 or less. This is a 2.5 out of 10. No, I'm going 2 out of 10 with this one. Tempest Kick Sky Slicer. That's a cool name. This thing costs 2. It's a 2-cost black CP9 event. It has effect KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 0, or your opponent's stages with a cost of 3 or less. So this is a nice utility card. So we got a pretty decent utility card here. You can take out stages with this, or you can lower something down to 0 and KO it with this without having to discard a card, which is nice. And then trigger, draw 2 cards. Yeah, this is solid. The main effect for the KO requires some setup, but the stage, that kills any stage in the game. Cost 3 or less, or is there something higher than that? I'm not sure. Whatever the case is, I think that kills every relevant stage in the game. So that main effect you should be able to get value out of no matter what. Like in the deck you'd run this in, right? Because you probably want to run this in more, even though it's a CP9, you'd probably want to run this in a Navy deck with your Kuzan, your 10-drop Kuzans. Solid. I'd say this is an 8 out of 10. Especially draw 2 cards on the trigger. That's wild. No discard. That's why it's weird doing that to CP9. It draws 2 without discarding. But yeah, solid. I give that a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10. 6 King Pistol. 0 cost counter for CP9, a black event. Excuse me. You may trash 1 card from your hand. Up to one of your leader or character cards gains plus 3,000 power during this battle. Yeah, this is a 9 out of 10. I rate this higher than I would a Radical Beam, or excuse me, not Radical Beam, the other 0 out of 10, the 0 cost. There was another 0 cost plus 3,000 that I reviewed in another video. I can't remember the name of it. That one I think I only gave a 6 or a 7 out of 10. I can't remember. But this one's a 9 out of 10 because in this kind of deck, you want to discard cards, right? Like in a CP9 deck, you're trying to discard cards, and you can play this on 0. So, you might as well see this as a 2K counter, right? Or it's really like a 3K counter that cycles out when your cards. This is solid. I think this is really solid, and it also fuels your discard or your trash. Trigger, draw 1 card, then KO one of your opponent's characters that cost 1 or less. I don't see the trigger ever even being possible, KOing someone who's 1 or less. But hey, it draws 1 card, and then if it can't KO, then it can't KO. So. I got to go down from I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I'll give it a 7. No, okay, sorry. 7.5 out of 10. I'm giving this a 7.5 out of 10. This card is solid, very solid. Okay, Innie's Lobby. 2 cost, black, World Government Stage. Activate main, you may rest the stage. If your leader type includes CP, give up to one of your opponent's characters -2 cost during this turn. Okay, it's a main effect. That's solid. That's a solid effect to -2 them. It's kind of it's probably a slightly better version of Marine Ford or Navy Headquarters, whatever it's called, Navy HQ. But I don't know. Navy HQ, it comes into play -1 and then activate -1 every time. But this one is -2 every time from there on for 2 costs instead of 1 cost. And this one has trigger play this card. I don't remember if the other one, if Navy Headquarters did. I can't remember. But this is solid. This is a solid card. I give this is just extremely average, though. I'm just going to give it a 5 out of 10. This is just, it looks like it should do exactly this. 2 cost stage. Yep, that's what I expect. Very average. Okay, and then yellow will be my next video. All right, so just wrapping up the decks here, or the cards here for black. Big winners. 6 King Pistols, nice. Tempest Kick Sky Slicer, nice. Airdor, incredible. I think Rob Lucci was solid. Bluno, I thought was incredible. Brand new, solid. Fukuro. Spandam was solid. Tons of good cards for black. And then Khalifa, just way up there. Yeah, I think black so far has gotten the best cards from this set that I've seen so far. Just really incredible stuff. And I have to say, very, very cool artwork on this card. I know that doesn't matter, but very, very cool looking artwork there. Well, okay, guys, I hope you all enjoyed that. If you liked it, please don't hesitate. Give me a like or a subscribe or both. Leave comments below if you want to talk about any of this stuff, because I should be responding to it as soon as I possibly can. And thanks for making it this far if you did. And we got yellow up next. So until next time, peace.